It's Ian from RDO here. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to a marathon ranking where we take on the big catalogues. And today we've got a forgotten Swiss rock band called Krokus, formed in 1975. But they were huge in North America during in the 80s. Now the band was founded in a place called Solothurn by Chris Von Ruhl, who was a vocalist and multi-instrumentalist, Tommy Kiefer on guitars, and they were both members of another band called Cactus. And they were former TEA vocalist Mark Storace joined the band as a frontman in 1980. Now, Krokus actually started off as a progressive band, but in the late 70s they went to see AC/DC and it blew them away. So a lot of their music, after they'd been to that concert, they turned from prog to being just an out and right rock and roll boogie band, like the Swiss version of AC/DC. And that's why I like them. Yeah, they just remind me of AC/DC with Bon Scott, because that's that sound. I really was into them in the 80s, totally forgot about them, and then just all of a sudden I thought, well, I've got to do these. So they've released 18 albums, believe it or not, and I didn't realise that I'd released that many. I'm just used to the ones from the early 80s, so this was a great one to do. So we'll get a cracking. So coming in at number 18, we have the 9th album that was released in 1986, and it's called Change of Address. Playing on here is Mark Storace on vocals, Fernando von Arb on lead guitar, Mark Kohler on rhythm guitar, Tommy Keisler on bass, Jeff Calvin on drums. So there's no original members in this. Additional musicians, Paul Fox and Jaya Winding, who's played on a lot of things on keyboards, and Leon Gayer on bass, Alan Holsworth on guitar solo, and Dave Mansfield on acoustic. So the first track on here is called Now All Through the Night. As you can expect, it's mid-80s, and we've got that horrible smooth guitar sound, horrible synth drums, not what I was expecting. Not very good. Hot Shot City. Once again, the electronic drums just don't fit what I was used to listening to the Krokus. Then they do a version of Alice Cooper's Schools Out, and it's probably the best track on the album. It's not too bad. Let This Love Begin. More of that MTV fodder. Oh, it's terrible. It's a very ballady, insipid song. Burning Up the Night, probably the second best track on here. It resembles their sound. It's got a bit more rocky, but it's got that horrible smooth guitar production. Say Goodbye, wishy-washy commercial ballad, not for me, although the solo on it's pretty decent. Well Done Fires is just a typical plastic 1980s rock song. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best thing on the album, but it's one of the more listenable ones. Hard Luck Hero is very smooth, very plastic, not for me. And the last track, Long Way From Home, yeah, more commercial nonsense for MTV. There are some half decent tracks on here, but it was more aimed at MTV for their videos. Pretty poor album. I've never heard it before, and I don't think I'll be ever hearing it again. But I will give it a 1 out of 10 just because they did a decent version of Schools Out. Okay, coming in at number 17, we've got their 11th album from 1990. Once again, it features near enough a completely new lineup, except Fernando von Arb's on it again, and it's called Stampede. It was the first album since 1978's Painkiller not to feature Mark Storace as well. So you got Pete Tanner on vocals, Mandy Mora on lead guitar, Tommy Castell rhythm, Fernando von Arb on bass and keyboards, Pete Haas drums, Jörg Negre on keyboards. Additionals on here, we've got Racha Studa on cello, on Nanazono, and Chris Eager on backing vocals. The first track is called Stampede. Musically it sounds good, but it was hard to get used to a new singer, and it didn't have the same as Mark, but it's a decent song. Electric Man, I don't mind this. It's a good vocal from Peter on that. He's got his lungs around that one, it's not too bad. Then we have Rock and Roll Gypsy. Musically it sounds great, it's got that boogie to it, but it just seems the voice, Pete Tanner's voice is a little strained in places. Shotgun Boogie. Now he's starting to try and sound like Brian Johnson. Nah, there's only one Brian Johnson. But my favourite track on here is a thing called Nova Zano. I think it's the best vocal Pete did. Best track on album. He's not trying to sound like anyone else, he's just singing it, and it's a good little number. Street Love comes next. Some killer guitar riffs on there, and it's a nice solo on there as well. She Drives Me Crazy. Again, he's trying to sound like a bit like Brian Johnson. Don't. In the Heat of the Night, worst track on the album. It's just messy. It's too long. It's bitty. Not the best track. Rhythm of Love. No, not a fan of that. Wasteland is good. He's not singing. He's just trying to sing like a normal person. Okay, not one of my favourite albums. I think Pete Tammet was trying to sound like Brian Johnson, and he failed, a bit. But the songs he actually sang properly and using his own style were good. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking at 4.5. Okay, coming in at number 16 from 1977, To You All. Another lineup change. This is the first album Fernando von All played on, and Jörg Nelgry. So you've got Chris von Ver lead vocals, Tommy Kiefer guitar, Fernando von Arb on guitar as well. You've got Jörg Nagli on the bass guitar, Freddie Steady on the drums, and we've got Peter Richards who does some additional vocals on some tracks. Same with Remo Spaldino and Chicken Fisher. Ben Yeager does plays the organ, and other keyboard work is Hitchy Salvo. So the first song is called Highway Song. The riffs are very status quo. I like this. It's certainly got that rock, 70s rock band, a really good track. To You All, I love the bass line on this. It's a great vocal here from Chris. I think it's Chris singing. It's a really good song. Festival, probably the weakest track on the album. I don't like the backing vocals, they're a bit cheesy. Move It On. Now this is a bit different. It's got a bit of a reggae feel to it, and it's really good. Quite like that one. Mr. Greedy, my favourite track on here. It's got some great, the riff at the beginning hooks you in, and it has got a great guitar solo on it as well. Lonesome Rider, a bit of a bluesy rock sound on this, pretty good. It's got a nice solo on it. Protection, very solid track, nothing wrong with that one. Trying Hard, an absolute killer track, second favourite on here. It's a great bluesy rock track. Don't Stop Praying, interesting guitars on this at the beginning. It's a nice track, but it doesn't really fit on the album in my books. Take It, Don't Leave It, very middle of the road. Again, it's another oddball on the album. It's an interesting album. It's got some stuff that they're sort of from their debut album as well, that sort of proggy sound. But then when they were sort of, I think this is where they decided where they wanted to change direction a little bit. The last two tracks just are very confusing, but there's some good crackers on here. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 15, released in 2017. It's called Big Rocks. Mark Storrace on vocals and lead guitar. Mandy Mayer on lead guitar. Mark Holner on rhythm. On the bass, Chris Von Rohr. Drums, Flavio Mazzordi. Guest musicians on here, vocals Mark Fox, Dennis Ward, Richter Dennis Ward, and on the harmonica Marco Panther. Now these are just covers of some songs. So the first bit is a note. This is the opening bit of Black Sabbath and IB, that the bass bit. And now they cleverly go in to Tie Your Mother Down from Queen. He's very good. It's not a bad version of that. The guitar solo is not as good as Brian's, but it's still a reasonable version. Then they do the Who's My Generation. It's all right, not the best. Wild Thing, no, not a very good version of it. Then they do the Animals. Well, it's a traditional folk song, of course, but the Animals made it famous. The House of the Rising Sun. I think it's a great vocal from Mark. It's a pretty decent version. Then Neil Young's Rockin' the Free World. I think they do a better version of it than Neil. It's really, really good. Gimme Some Love from Spencer Davis. I don't like that version. Whole Lot of Love. Nah, you don't. They got some of the riffing right, but that's about it. Summertime Blues. It's too heavy. I don't like heavy rock and roll. It's a rock and roll number. Born to Be Wild, the Steppenwolf song. I think it's really good. Then we get Quinn the Eskimo, which is really the mighty Quinn, and you just don't need it to be a heavy metal track. Jumping Jack Flash is the best cover they did on here, one of the best songs on here. That's quite heavy. But then they do one of their own songs, which is my favourite song on here. It's Backseat Rock and Roll. It's just a great rock and roll number, and it's my favourite track. As usual with these cover albums, there's some good ones and bad ones. I've got into a bit of an argument over this with someone that I missed the point, but you know, you don't muck about with songs that are good like these have, like most bands do. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 14 is the 8th album. I'll remember this one from 1984, The Blitz. Mark Storrace on the vocals, Fernando Von Arb on the lead guitar and rhythm, Mark Kohler bass, Jeff Calvin drums, Doug Johnson does the keyboards, and Jimmy Jameson backing vocals on Our Love. Midnight Maniac, a little bit of 80s production on it, but it's still a really good rocker. Out of Control, this is brilliant. It reminds me of when AC/DC did their version of Please Don't Go. It's got that same tempo on the drums from Jeff. It's a great song, great vocal from Mark. I love that track. Boys Night Out. Now this is written by Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance, and it was originally recorded for Adams' Reckless album, but he left it off until its 30th anniversary reissue. But Krokus picked it up, and you can tell it's written by Bryan Adams. It's not a bad track though, and I have heard the Bryan Adams version, of course. They're pretty good. Our Love, it's got the 1980s drum beat on it, and no thank you. Out to Lunch, okay, it's got a cheesy keyboard on it, that 80s, horrible cheesy, but the riffs are super. Then they do another cover. This time they have a bash at Ballroom Blitz, and I wish they hadn't. We'll leave it at that, shall we? Rock the Nation, very mediocre plastic rock, I'm afraid. Hot Stuff, very dated. It's stuck in the 80s. It's got some great riffs though. I remember this as listening to it at the time, and I thought it was brilliant. But when I look at it now, I go, oh no, it's still there in 1984. Ready to Rock, a typical sort of 1980s anthem, shouting responses. Okay, I mean, this was probably one of the first Krokus albums I ever heard. I was really into this album, but it has dated, and it is firmly stuck in the 1980s. But it's got fond memories, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 13 then. It's the 10th album from 1988, and it's called Heart Attack. Lineup on here is Mark Fernando, Mark Kohler, Chris Von Rohr, and on drums, Danny Crivelli. First track on here is called Everybody Rocks, a typical sort of 80s anthem. It's got some nice riffs in it. It's pretty solid, actually. Wild Love, I love the riff in this. Terrific. Great vocal from Mark as ever. Let It Go, very 80s rock, but it's a fun track. Winning Man. Now this was originally on hardware. Not a big fan of this version. It's a little bit overproduced. Axe Attack, best track on here. Killer riffs. There's none of this 80s nonsense. It's straight in. The drums are great. Excellent track. Rock and Roll Tonight comes next. I like the track, but I don't like the production on it. It's too smooth. Flying High, some steady riffs. Probably the second best track on here. It's got some grit. Shoot Down the Night reminds me of AC/DC's Let There Be Rock. It's got that sort of dum 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 feel to it. Excellent track. Bad Bad Girl comes next. It's a great vocal for Mark. And then Speed Up. Reminds me of Dio's Re-Rock. It's got that vibe to it. I think this is a pretty decent album for 1980s. I remember this coming out, and again, I loved it when it came out. It's got some great rockers on, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6.3. Okay, coming in at number 12, we've got the 14th album from 2003, and it's called Rock the Block. Got Mark Storace on it, Fernando Von Orb is on it, Dominique Favez is on guitars, the brilliant Tony Castell on bass, Patrick Abbey on drums, Mark Edward does some backing vocals. Mad World, nothing to do with Tears for Fears. I love the opening riff. It's very Malcolm Young opening riff of an ACD song, and it's a cool track. I like that. Leading the Pack, another solid track. I mean, Mark's just sounding like Bon Scott. It thinks this was what Bon would have sounded like if he'd have lived. It's an excellent track. I really like that. I Want It All, nothing to do with Queen, but it's my favourite track on it. It's a melodic track. It's got some nice guitar work and very good vocal again. Open Fire, it's one of them sort of ploddy melodic tracks that I like. It's got a nice beat to it. The bass line on it is terrific. One for All, a great rocker, great guitar solo, lots of energy, absolutely brilliant track. Looking to America, now this is a little bit of harmony singing at the beginning, pretty good. Go My Way, it's got one of the best guitar solos on the album, another super vocal on here. Then we got Hot Shot, good little rocker on here, like that. Raise Your Hands, a very cheesy Anthony rock song, nothing wrong with that. Night of the Snakes, very Saxon heavy metal style, brilliant stuff. Throw in a Her China, it's a bit plastic, it's not the best track on the album. Will Rise, it's got a nice riff on it. It's one of the weaker tracks. We know we're getting towards the end of the album. Freedom, what a bass line and a good little rocker that is. Rock the Block, it's just AC/DC, and I love it. It's got that sort of fun boogie rock sound. Now this album does start very well. It has that little dip in the middle, but comes back very strong with them last couple of tracks. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 11 is the 13th album, and they called it 13, round 13. And it's the only album to feature vocalist Cole Sentence. Now Cole Sentence, of course, started with Persian Risk and then went on to sing with Nazareth, of course. So it's with Carl is Fernando Von Arb, Chris Lauper on guitars, Mandy Maurer on bass, Pete Hass on drums, We've got Andy Portman, Chris Egg and Claude Domatale, backing vocals. And the first track on here is a little thing called Hey Ya. Now it starts off with like a Native American chants. I love that, but I love Cole's vocal on it. Super track. Money Back. Interesting start. The drumming sounds a bit weird, but when the guitars come in, it's just great. What a great track. Break Free. Very Malcolm Young riffs again. There's nothing wrong with this. It's a fantastic vocal from Carl. He's a great singer. Guitar Rules. A good track, and Carl's vocals, and I do like how he sings this, and you know, you can understand why he got the gig with Nazareth. It's a super track. Blood Comes Easy. Great riffs. Carl's on the money again. Suck My Guitar. Just a great boogie rock track. Nothing wrong with that. Gypsy Love. I love the funky bass on it, but it's a bit of a mishmash song. My favourite track on here is a thing called Backstabber. Carl is on fire. It's the best vocal he did on this album. It's just classic sounding Krokus. It's boogie. It's really good. And Wild Times is another corking rock track to end the album. I think this is the best album without Mark. I think Cole Sentence did a fine job on this album. I mean, he replaced Dan McCaffrey of T.I. in Nazareth. So this is a guy that's got a great voice. I love this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, then top 10. Bottoming out the top 10, we have the 17th album from 2013, Dirty Dynamite. So it's Mark Storos is back on the lead vocals. Fernando's on piano guitars. Mark Cole is on the album. Mandy Myers on here. Chris Von Rohr's back doing the bass and pianos. Costa Zafruri on drums. Mark Fox and Tommy Hart do some backing vocals. First track is called Hallelujah Rock and Roll. Again, it's just great boogie rock. And Mark is on fire. I love it. It's a great track. Go Baby Go, another solid track. Mark's vocals are just amazing. The guitar work on here is really good as well. Mandy Mayo and Mark Collar doing the business. My favourite track though is a little number called Rattlesnake Rumble, and it's more of a ZZ Top sort of track, and it's brilliant. It's one of the best tracks of their later period. Absolutely top draw. Dirty Dynamite, another solid track. Let the Good Times Roll, very influenced by AC/DC. It's one of them tracks I might have expecting Brian Johnson to start singing. That's how good it is. Then they do a fast up-tempo version. I mean, sorry, this is can't read my own what I've written. Help. It's not a fast, it's more in the vein of Tina Turner's version. And it's not a bad version either. Better Than Sex is the title of the next track. Very solid. I love the voice at the start of it. It's quite fun. Then we have Dog Skull Song. Nothing wrong with this. Great riffs on it. Just what it says on the tin. Yellow Mary. Very good vocal from Mark. The riffs and the bass are terrific on there. Bailout Blues. Reminds me of AC/DC's War Machine. Really good track. Live My Life. The opening riffs sound like they've come straight off of Down Payment Blues, but I don't mind. I love that opening riff of that one as well. It's very gritty. And the last track, Hard Rocking Man, another great little rock track. Does what it says on the tin, really. This is their most recent album of original material, and it's cracking. The tracks that, you know, they were a band that like putting the round rock in their thing. I love this album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 9 is their first album called Krokus. and it was the only album that featured Hansi Dorez and Remy Spaldino on it. And it's a progressive. And the album has become a collector's item since only 560 copies were ever pressed. Luckily, this is on YouTube. So, Tommy Kiefer on lead and backing vocals, Hansi Dorez on rhythm, Remo Spaldino on the bass, Chris Von Ver on drums. I said he was a musicianist. He's played on everything on here. Additionals, we've got Rebo Bulding on congas, Peter Richard, who seems to have popped up all over on vocals, Eric Mertz, some emotional vocals. First track is a little thing called a Mojale. I really like this. It's a very simple rock song, very raw, great vocal. Angela Part 1. Love the bass roam on here from Remo. The bongos really add to it. It's really solid energy, really nice track. This is proper prog. It really is good. Excellent track. Most Southing is an instrumental. It's a really good instrumental. My second favourite track on here. The bass line from Remo is brilliant. No Way Out, brilliant track. Got a killer rock riff on that. Then we have another instrumental. It's a very short one. It's a bit of piano work from Chris, and it's called Eventide Clockworks. Really nice. Then we have Free Dream, which is a really funky track. The bass line is so funky, it's slap funk, really is good. Jumping in, the bongos are going at 90 miles an hour. It doesn't fit in. It reminds me of some of Tyrannosaurus Rex, where the bongo player just goes off on one. It's not my favourite track on the album. My favourite track on the album, though, is called In Sala Mista. Some great, it's a proper prog track with lots of phasing on the keyboards, great guitar playing, really good. Angela Part 2. It's a short little bit with a killer guitar solo. And the last track, Just Like Every Day. This is the most heaviest rock, good old-fashioned 70s rock on this. Great vocals. Okay, this album is really a bit different. This is how they started. I love this album though, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay, number 8 is the third album from 1978, and it's called Painkiller. Chris Von Ver, vocals, percussion, drums, bass and keyboards. Tommy Kiefer, lead, guitar, vocals. Fernando Von Orb on the rhythm and bass and keyboards. Jörg Negli on bass and keyboards. And Freddie Steady on the drums again. Killer is the opening track. The vocal on this, I don't know if it's Tommy or Chris, but it's absolutely stunning. Brilliant track. Werewolf. Little licks on here, catchy riff, excellent. Rock Ladies, love this song. It's a gritty rocker. Bad Love. Very middle of the road, but it has got an excellent guitar solo on it. Get Out of My Mind, a nice little boogie track. I love the drumming on this. It's a proper boogie shuffle sound. Really good. Rock Me, Rock You, good track. Cheesy backing vocals though. We'll give them that one. Deadline, love the guitar work on here. It's really super. Susie is a very simple song. It's the elephant in the room here though. It doesn't really belong on the album, but it is a terrific song. Pay It. My favourite track on here. I love the driving riffs again. It's good old proper rock. Bye Bye Baby. It's certainly got the last track on the Syndrome album feeling on this. I think this is the best album that Krokus did with Tommy Kiefer. The second album hadn't got no direction, but this was all gone with this one. Some great tracks on here, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, coming in at number 7 then, we've got the 16th album from 2010, and it's called Hoodoo. Mark Storace, Fernando, Mark Kohler, Chris Von Rohr, Freddie Steady. Additional vocals again from Mark Fox and Kenny Arnoff, another great drummer that's drummed with a lot of people. Just some extras on here. Drive It In. Now this reminds me of Focus's Hocus Pocus. It's quite a funny track, but it's good. I do like it. It's top draw music. Hoodoo Woman. I love the bass line on this. It drives the song along. Excellent track. Then they do a version of Born to Be Wild, which was on their... They did it on their covers album. Yeah, it's a good track. Rock and Roll Handshake. This is ZZ Top meets AC/DC. Killer track. Some great riffs on that. Ride Into the Sun. Very melodic. Very great track. Some really nice guitar work on this. Then we got Too Hot. Now, they did re-record it, but this is the best version of it. It's got more grunt to it than that smoothness on it. In My Blood, my favourite track on here. It's just a simple boogie track. Great rock and roll. Mark's vocals are good. Dirty Street, excellent bluesy number with a fabulous guitar solo. Keep Me Rolling, that's what it says on the tin. It's just a great little track. Shot of Love. Again, it's got everything that AC/DC do, and you can tell these are big fans of AC/DC. Great track. Firestar, certainly got that last track on the album feel to it. Another solid album from Krokus. Having Mark back in the band was a great move. I'd say he's the best singer of the band, so this was his first album back, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 6, the 12th album from 1995, To Rock or Not to Be. Mark's on the lead vocals, Fernando's playing guitars, Mark Kohler's doing some guitar, Mandy Myers playing the bass and lead guitar, Freddie Steady still doing the drums, so his actual name is Freddie Fruitig. Jörg Neagley doing some keyboards on this, Andy Portman, Chris Edgar and Tony Castile doing the backing vocals. First track, Lionheart. Great opening song, great bass line, some strong riffs, fantastic vocal again. Flying Through the Night is next. Not too bad, not one of my favourites, but I do like the bass line. Title track, To Rock or Not to Be. Great vocal for Mark, absolutely killer track. But my favourite is In the Dead of Night. It's a little bit different. The drumming is on this. It's brilliant. It's more melodic. It's an excellent track. Natural Bond, a great bass line. It's Cliff Williams style bass line. All the riffs around it are brilliant. Then we have a track called Doggy Style. It's very melodic. Nice track. Talking Like a Shotgun. It's just a very heavy rock and roll track with some great riffs in it. Soul to Soul. Bluesy, great bass line, superb vocal from Mark. Stop the World, another of those melodic tracks. They do some great melodic rock tracks, and that is one of them. You Ain't Got the Guts to Do It. Very much like AC/DC's Rocker. That sort of short track. It's a very short track, 3 minutes, but it's got all them. It's got great vocals. It's got a great guitar solo. Wagon Gone, strange track, but a great bass line. Stormy Nights. It's like this is like their Kashmir. It's got that vibe. It's really good. Last track. This is a really strong album. I'd never heard this one because of it, you know, I'd sort of lost touch with them. But boy, have I enjoyed this album, and I've played it a few times now. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Hellraiser is their number 5. Is my number 5, the 15th in 2006, and it marked 30 years since the first album in 1976. So it's got Mark on it, Mandy. We've got Dominique Favors on rhythm guitar. Tony Castile's doing the bass. Stefan Schwartzman on the drums on this. Dennis Ward on keyboards. First track is a track called Hellraiser, the title. I love the drumming from Stefan on this. Some great guitar work from Mandy and Dominique. Brilliant. Too Wired to Sleep. I love this. Great vocal from Mark. Hangman, What a groovy bass line from Tony. Guitar work on here from Mandy is terrific. Great lead folk guitar on that. Angel of My Dreams, another of those melodic tracks. Some lovely guitar work from both Dominique and Mandy. Super track. Phaeton, solid. Just a really good rock song. So Long. It's okay. It's a bit of a sort of a heavy metal ballad, but it's okay. I don't mind it. Spirit of the Night. The real heavy double bass drum on this. Absolutely killer. The licks from Mandy are terrific on this. Midnight Fantasy. Bassline's a bit strange at the beginning, but when the rest of the band come in, it's just a real grindy rock song. No Risk, No Names. Great track on here. It's just one of them simple rock tracks. Plug in and go. Then we have Turning Inside Out. The riff on this is brilliant. There's some great drumming on this. Another fine vocal. Take My Love. Solid. Great riffs. Gets your feet tapping. Justice. Some great guitar work on this. The rhythm from Dominique on this is brilliant. It keeps the track going. It's like the nuts and bolts of the track. Love Will Survive. Fine vocal from Mark. One of his best on the album. Then there's a rock track called Rocks Off. Nothing to do with Primal Scream. Pretty good track. Great 120 album. The driving bass line from Tony is brilliant. You can't go wrong. Cracking tracks on here. There's a couple but I'm not as keen on, but it's still a very strong album, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.8. Okay then, coming in at number 4, we've got the 7th album from 1983, Headhunter. Remember this one? Mark Storich, Fernando Von Arb, Mark Kohler, Chris Von Ver, Steve Pace is on the drums. Rob Halford does some backing vocals on this, on Ready to Burn. So the first track is Headhunter. Brilliant opening track. Love the drumming on this. Really heavy. Killer vocal from Mark. Eat the Rich. Very early heavy metal sound. Great riffs. Super track. Screaming in the Night. A bit wishy-washy, but was a popular song. Not for me. But the best track on here is the one that the backing vocals from the metal god himself, Ready to Burn. Two great singers having a while of a time. Brilliant track. I love that track. Always loved that track. Then we have Nightwolf, which was actually written for an animated motion picture called Metal Hollywood. Some really nice riffs on this. Brilliant track. Then they have another basher cover, and this time they're going to do Bachman Turner Overdrive, Stayed Awake All Night. And it's one of the best covers they ever did. It's a great version of this song from Bachman Turner Overdrive. I love it. Stand Up and Be Counted. Great heavy metal riff at the start. Great solo on it as well. Super song. White Din. A little bit of a guitar virtuoso on here. About 1 minute. Russian Winter. Love that stomping Russian sort of sound, you know, industrial. Great vocal from Mark. Great track to end the album. From top to bottom, this album is screaming brilliance and fun, except the Screaming in the Night. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3, we got the 4th album from 1980, Metal Rendezvous. It's the first one that Mark Storich played on. So it's Mark, Fernando, Tommy Kiefer's on here, Chris Von Rohr's on bass on this, Freddie Steady's on here, and Jörg Nieglerl. First track is called Heat Strokes. The drumming on this from Freddie is brilliant. You got Chris' bass line that's terrific as well. Great track to open the album. B-side radio. It's got that very new wave of heavy metal sound to it, which I love. Brilliant track. Come On, Right. This is a great track. I love that rolling riff on this. The drums from Freddie are super. Streamer Comes Knack. It goes on a little bit too long. It's the longest track on the album at 6 minutes. It could have been cut short. But Shy Kid is 2 minutes 33, and it's got some great riffs, drumming, guitar solo. Tokyo Nights. Now this is a 5 minute track, but it's melodic, and I love how the drums and the bass sort of intertwine on there. Really good. Lady Double Dealer, not the Deep Purple song, but it's one of my favourite tracks. I think it's got one of the best solos on the album. Fire is one of those sort of melodic tracks. I love the pace of this, and the solo is really good. No Way, great vocal from Mark, really good. Then we got Backseat Rock and Roll. My favourite track on here. I don't mind the re-recorded version they did on the vocal on the covers album, but this is the best version. It's more rawer than the other one. It's an absolute brilliant track. It's a great debut from Mark. That's just the way they went forward, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.3. Number 2, their fifth album from 1981, Hardware. Mark, Fernando, Chris, Tommy, Freddie and Jörg. First track is Celebration. It takes a little while to get going. It's got a long intro. I think it's more of an intro track. It's okay. But it goes straight into a track called Easy Rocker. I love the rolling guitars and drums on that. Then we have a little track called Smelly Nelly. What an excellent track. The riffs are great on this. It's very catchy. Mr. 69, my favourite track on here. It's that rock and roll, very AC/DC boogie. Brilliant little track. She's Got Everything, second favourite track on here. It's got one of the best guitar solos off the album. Burning Bones, it's just quality. It's got that twin guitar sound. It's great. Mark's ripping up the vocals, excellent. Rock City, another solid track. The bass line on this is terrific. Winning Man, this is the original version of this, of course, and it's a lot better. Mad Racket, high octane rock and roll, as they call it. Brilliant track. Great. Last track, it reminds me of If You Want Blood, You've Got It. This is a really good album. It's purely an AC/DC sounding album. I don't care. It's just one brilliant album, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. But my number one album, and I remember this coming out. It came out in 1982, and it's called One Vice at a Time. Mark Storrace on vocals, Fernando Von Orb on lead guitar, Mark Kohler rhythm, Chris Von Rohr on bass, Freddie Steady drums, and Bruce Dickinson appears on I Am on the Run. Long Stick Goes Boom. What a killer track to open up the album. It's very riff-raffy, but from AC/DC, but it's brilliant. Fantastic drumming from Freddie. Love that track. Bad Boys, Ragdolls, killer. Brilliant bass line from Chris. Once again, Mark's delivering a great vocal. Playing with the Outlaw. A guitar solo is if you listen quickly, you think it's Angus. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant track. Love the guitar riffs on that. Top to the Top, another great track. Killer riffs, solo, great singing. Down the Drain, it's got one of the most catchiest riffs on this album from the moment it starts. Then they do a cover of the Guess Who's American Woman, and it's probably one of their best as well. It's a great version of it, terrific. Then we have my favourite track on here, On the Run. But Bruce Dickinson doing the backing vocals, terrific song. Like when he did with Rob, you get some of the greatest heavy metal singers in, and they do a fine job on that. It's a brilliant song. Save Me, probably got the best bass line on here from Chris. Rock and Roll, second favourite track on it. It's gritty, it's rocky, everything is brilliant about that track. Okay, from top to the bottom, this album is solid. No filler on here. I think it's the combination of those first few albums. Martin on here is really in the groove, and it's got a lot of AC/DC influences, but it doesn't matter. They sound so good, and this to me was their pinnacle. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go. That's a bit of Krokus. Great band from my childhood. Okay, that's all for today, but we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got a really good sophomore drum. We've got Yes, A Time in a Word against Genesis Trespass. And then in Pick and Mix, we're going to take a wander down the sidewalk and look at the top 10 singles for May the 1st, 1983. So have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.